never made it, but I know what it takes. I'm motivated by a mix of emotion. Got my statement, and I'm reading it slow so I can understand it fully. Appreciate my standing, go out of this world and right on time. Oh, never in my life have I seen the sky light up like this. I'm far away from Earth and I wanna know if you exist. Mission control, do you read me? Send me my coordinates lately. Mission control, am I drifting? Tie me to someone who will love me, yeah. Wait, I think I'll last a bit longer. Find another reason to breathe this air.
Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone to another Ref Brandon and the Todd family YouTube video. Wherever you are, whatever you may be doing, thank you so much for making Ref Brandon and the Todd family part of your day. We always greatly appreciate it. 2 days away, if you watch this video today, which is Thursday, from SWA Reloaded, coming up Saturday night, 244 Livestock Road, Easton Nolly, Georgia. Doors open at 6 o'clock. Bail time is 7 o'clock. I hope to see everybody there, but since it is Thursday, we all know by now that yesterday was National Signing Day in the world of college football. It's always the first Wednesday in February. And if I'm not mistaken, the first 2 years we've had National Signing Day since I started this channel, I've always used 24/7 Sports. So I figured this year I'd be different and use ESPN. So this is the top 10 recruiting classes according to ESPN. Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State, Oregon, Texas, Miami, LSU, Oklahoma, Auburn, and Florida. And also according to ESPN, these are the schools with the most ESPN 300 recruits. Georgia has 21, Alabama 18, Oregon 17, LSU and Texas both have 14, Ohio State 13, Miami 12, Oklahoma, Auburn, Penn State, and Florida State all have 11. Now, of course, there's not as much to talk about now on that first Wednesday in February because we have the early signing day, which is now when most players end up signing. So by the time February rolls around, most of the schools have already signed most of their core talent, but there's still a few that are out there. But me personally, I have never followed recruiting like a lot of people do. Me and a coworker of mine were talking about this. I want to say it was Monday of this week. I've known people in the past, and still to this day know people that follow recruiting all the time. It doesn't matter what month it is. If they talk about their favorite team in college, they're going to bring up recruiting. A player they're going after, a player they're trying to get, a player they might get, a player they're about to lose, and they track this stuff all the time. I never have done that because, for one, there are too many players that come out of high school as 5-star prospects, and you get your hopes up. Man, my team got this great player, this great receiver or running back or whatever he plays, and then he gets on campus and for whatever reason he just doesn't pan out. And then you want to blame the coaching staff, thinking the coaching staff done something wrong, when in reality it was just he was a 5-star player in high school and just never got better. And then sometimes players come out of high school and they are 5-star players, but they get in college and they suffer some freak accident and they're just never the same. And then there's also times where kids come out of high school and they're a 2-star player, and you think, man, why did my team sign that guy? He's only a 2-star player. And then he ends up being an NFL prospect. So you just don't ever know. So you will drive yourself crazy if you follow recruiting like that, because you think good or think bad based on the talent. And it doesn't always work that way. You can have the best, most talented team in the history of the world, but if they can't gel together as a team and play as a team, it does you no good. And now, to me, it's worse, because now with the NIL deals we have going on, you might sign 75 5-star players, and after their freshman year, 40 of them might transfer. So you get all excited about all these players coming in, and half of them transfer before they ever play a significant down for your team. So I have never followed recruiting like some people do. When National Signing Day comes around, I'll scroll through each team and see who they got, find out who the best 10 teams are recruiting-wise, and then I'm done with it. I don't think about recruiting again until this time next year. I'm not going to come back in April or May and look at Clemson's current recruiting class. I'm just not going to do it. I'll look at it when it's recruiting time, and then I'm done. That's enough for me. But some people follow it day and night, night and day, and I just never have. If you do, more power to you, but it's just not my thing. You just don't ever know how good or bad a player's going to be, and you can drive yourself crazy thinking good or bad based on how many stars are out beside a player's name, and then he ends up being better than expected or nowhere near as good as expected. And for whatever reason, some kids reach their peak in high school, and most players get better as they go along, but not everybody. Some reach their peak early and they never get better, and that's what causes a lot of these players to be misevaluated, because you watch them when they're a junior or a senior in high school and think, man, this kid's going to be really good. And then he gets to college, and as a junior in college, he's no better than what he was when he was a junior in high school. And a great example of that is former Clemson quarterback, now in the NFL, Trevor Lawrence. When Trevor Lawrence came to Clemson, he looked like he was the second coming of Dan Marino. And as a freshman, he looked phenomenal. But if you watch Trevor Lawrence now in the NFL after a couple of years of being there and playing at Clemson, he is no better now than he was when he was a freshman at Clemson. He just physically grew really young, and it made him dominant at a young, early age. And by the time the rest of the field caught up with him, he was stuck. He's never gotten better. So he was not misevaluated coming out of high school. It's just he reached his peak at an early age. And you can watch his freshman stats and freshman numbers and watch his freshman highlights at Clemson, and then watch him play now with Jacksonville, and he's the same player. He's never improved. And that happens a lot with recruiting, which is why I don't follow it like some folks do. Any thoughts on it, please feel free to let me know. Let's go ahead and get our dad joke of the day in here. I told my wife that we might not have the best ceiling in the world, but it's up there. And that does it for today's Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Until next time, it's Ref Brandon saying, just like in pro wrestling, life can be over by the count of 3. Tell your friends and family how much you love them. Bye.